before we have Aubrey do the program tonight, one of the fun things we get to do is some door prizes. So everyone is eligible, no matter if you just came for the program or whatever, everyone is eligible. So I need everyone to be honest, and don't be embarrassed or afraid to raise your hand if you qualify for one of these prizes. So I want to know who most recently rode their bicycle.
Not mine.
Nobody rides their bicycle. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, Renee, when did you ride your bicycle? Yesterday. Kathy, yesterday? How about back here? When did someone back there have their hand up?
I rode the bike at the gym today.
No? All right, well, now we're down to time. What time did you ride your bicycle? Renee, what time did you ride your bicycle? Earlier in the day? All right. Well. Okay, so just in case you fall off your bicycle, we have some Band-Aids, some antibacterial cream, but we also have a gift card for peanut butter and deli in Morrison. Who most recently bought a pair of shoes? Oh, wow. Okay, anybody buy them today? Today? Okay. What time, Aubrey, did you buy your shoes?
It was early this morning.
Early this
like
morning.
6.
Stephanie. Oh, you bought them online. Okay. What time, Tanya? Okay, about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I say you win. Okay. All right. Here's a gift for you and a gift card for peanut butter and deli.
It's for your weekend.
Okay, now this one, I'm pretty sure we have someone that will qualify for this. Who most recently changed a diaper? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. What time did you change a diaper, Michelle?
It was over the weekend.
Over the weekend. Joy? Okay. How about you? About 5 o'clock? Okay, it's 7, so, all right. Here we go. Okay, I know a gift card for food is a little odd with changing a diaper, but here you go. You're gonna need some hand sanitizer and lotion because you're washing lots of hands. And here you go. And a gift card to Dairy Queen for both of y'all. Okay, who most recently planted a flower or planted something in their garden? Oh, wow, we have lots of people. This is, wow. What time, Allison? 2 days ago. 2:30 this afternoon. 11 o'clock. In the back, what time did you plant? When did you plant? Go ahead. Friday? Last night. Okay, we got somebody who did it today, right? Today? Okay. Well, you're not done planting yet. You have another plant in there to plant and some gardening gloves. All right, who most recently took a bath? Now, I hope you all bathed before you came, but who most recently took an actual bath? Took a bath. Let's see. Aubrey, last night. Ruth. 2 o'clock this afternoon. Anybody after 2 o'clock? Go ahead, kiddo. What time did you take a bath? This morning, okay. Oh, 4:30 this afternoon. Anybody since 4:30? 4:35. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Who was it? 4:30 this afternoon? Here you go. And there's that. And this is for you, and I'll have you pass this down. I'll just lay the gift card on top, okay? There you go. I got to come up with harder categories. All right, who most recently took an aspirin for a headache? You did? This morning? Anybody else? All right. Here's some Tylenol and an ice pack and a gift card. There you go. All right, who most recently wrote a thank you note? Oh, yay, yay. Great. Monica, when did you write yours?
Hers was tonight. She gave 3 times.
When was yours? This morning? Okay, and when was yours?
I got like a 2:15.
2:15? Okay, kiddo in the back, when was yours? Yesterday? Okay, you really just wrote 3 of them, huh? Yeah. All right. All right, here's peanut butter and deli, and here, let's just drop that in there. There you go. All right, this is for little girls. Okay, how many little girls do we have here? Can I see hands? 1, 2, and 3. All right, will you 3 come up here? Please, thank you. All right, this one is for you. This one is for you. You're welcome. Just thanks for coming. And this one is for you. How's that? Okay, thank you for coming. All right. Anybody that's over the age of 18, I have 1 Dairy Queen gift card left, who most recently danced. When did you dance?
Last night.
All right. When did you dance? Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you. Okay, sorry, that's all the prizes I have left. Thank you all for participating. And now I'd like to have Pat Pessman come forward to introduce our speaker.
Well, thank you for coming, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Welcome all of you. Boy, we have a nice group of ladies here tonight, and we're going to have a great presentation. Aubrey is here, and I have the privilege of introducing her. And it all started a year ago. We were sitting around a table, her mother and I, Mel. You want to wave at everybody? I'm in a Bible study with Mel, and she was finally sharing some good news. She was saying that her daughter was doing much better, and that she had started an organization called Rise Up Again. Was that about a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And she was talking about it, and the more she did that, I was like, you know, we have to plan another program for next year. This could be a good program, having Aubrey. So I asked Mel to ask Aubrey if she would think about it, and I really didn't know what the chances were, but Aubrey reciprocated and said, I'd love to do that. So Aubrey has quite a story to tell. You know, for most of us, the birth of a daughter or son is a wonderful experience. especially the first one. But for Aubrey, it was only good for about 2 weeks. And then she was plunged into a deep, dark struggle and a trial that went on for like 4 years, 5 years. And I don't want to say too much about it because I want Aubrey to tell her story. And so we're looking forward to your presentation. And she's from, I love to say this, I practiced it. Oconomowoc.
Yes, yes.
Let's all say that. It's fun.
Oconom-
1, 2, 3.
Oconomowoc.
Are you a Green Bay Packers fan?
Negative.
Okay.
My husband is diehard Packers fan.
Okay, but he's not talking to me.
Yeah, it's okay. He's not here. You know, I'm a Bears fan. We're in good.
And Aubrey
Good place here.
is a local girl. She grew up in Sterling. She went to Sterling Christian School for a few years, and then on to the high school, and then on to college and marriage and her first baby. Perfect life, right? But God had other plans. And through that struggle, look what he's done. You have risen up again, Aubrey, and your presentation is going to be wonderful. We're looking forward to hearing all about you. So here you go.
Awesome. I'm mic'd up here. Hi, guys. How are you? Hello, hello. I'm going to be moving around a little bit because that's just the teacher in me. I'm also a dancer by trade, so if I get a little, dancy up here. I'm just going to introduce myself to you. My name is Aubrey. My last name's Krueger. That's my married name. But yes, I did grow up in Sterling, Illinois. But by the age of 18, soon moved over to Wisconsin, where I went and I actually, can you hear me? I majored in dance education and social sciences. I later met my husband there, and if you've ever been to Wisconsin, it's absolutely beautiful. I couldn't stay away any longer. We live in the Lake Country area, so there's literally like 20 to 25 lakes that surround us. So just some fun facts. I'm going to share some fun facts, so this is not so about me here. I love iced coffee. Oftentimes you'll see me in the morning with a massive iced coffee. That's what gets me through my morning. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She is the light of my life. The biggest spitfire. I would call her half sweet and half spicy. I'm an identical twin. So yes, we are identical, we look alike, but we are polar opposite. We are best friends though. We talk almost every day. And then what's another fact about me? I love being outdoors. So we, as you can imagine, in the Lake Country area, there's lakes, so boating, paddleboarding, wakeboarding, skiing, any of that. We just love to be out. So I'm going to leave it up to you right now, just a little icebreaker here. Find someone in the area that you don't know and just tell them a little bit about you. It doesn't have to be personal. Just share something. So I'll give you a couple minutes. Okay. Just wrap up what you're saying in the next couple of seconds here. Alrighty. Alrighty, so Okay, a couple seconds here, and then we'll wrap that up. All right. So I'm going to have you do another exercise. I know. Thank you. She's amazing. I'm going to have you do another exercise here. Next slide. I swear this is not brain surgery. It is just something that has helped me in my journey, and I want to share with you. So I actually do dance therapy. A lot of that involves journaling and prayerful meditation. We use God's word to integrate into our movement and into the lyrics. So I recently, I'll share her information, but will not share her name. 45-year-old who recently lost her son to suicide. She was a dancer by trade, and after her son passed away, we just met organically at an event, and she said, Aubrey, I haven't danced since he's passed. So we immediately met for coffee. We met for over 4 hours and just bawling the whole time. And she said, Aubrey, you're the answer to my prayer. And that journey has kind of led me to where I'm at today, and I don't want to divulge a lot, but this kind of gives you just a little overview of what we do to help our tense bodies. We are tense people. I feel like we can learn a lot from the littles in our life that are always moving and shaking and all around. Their nervous systems are definitely regulated. But for us, we tend to grin and bear it. You know, I just remember like when I was 14, just being in the classroom and having to sit still. That was extremely hard for me. So, my mom's laughing. So, you know, we end up tensing and that goes into our body. So, I'm going to have you stand up or sit down, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable doing, or just sit down. And this is called muscle activation. So, again, we will inhale for 5 seconds, and whatever you feel is tense in your body, it's usually my shoulders or my neck. I will tense that specific area for 5 seconds and inhale. I then release. Please don't go longer than 5 seconds. And I then release, and oftentimes I'm releasing that worry and that stress to Jesus because I can't do it on my own. And that's kind of the main point of my entire testimony, but we'll go there in a minute. So, again, if you want to stand. If you feel like you want to sit, awesome. You're great. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. I love it. I'll stand with you. So just pick a spot in your body, and we're going to tense that area. So I'm choosing my neck because that's where my stress goes. So we're going to inhale. Okay, I think that was 5 seconds. Okay, release. And as we release, we want to make sure that we're just releasing everything. Come on in. Inhale. And release. And when I was doing this with my client, I would call her a friend, we went into the verse of 1 Peter, so casting all your cares on him. And that was in the back of my mind as I was doing that. So this last one, if you're here today and you have heaviness, just use this. So, inhale. And exhale. All right, great. See? Not too bad, right? All right, so next slide. My testimony. So, when I was given the honor to speak today, I was very prayerful about it. I prayed with my husband and really felt that this was something to be said. So, disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. And my twin sister's calling. I swear, we just know. It was apparent that I needed to be here today. Now, it was a 2.5-hour drive, which is not so bad, but I have a daughter at home who has strep throat, and it made it very hard to come today. But I knew in my heart that I needed to share what I'm going to share today. If you feel triggered at any point in this speech, please feel free to leave in the other area, collect your thoughts, whatnot. I do want to tell you it is some parts are rough to hear. But God. So, next slide. This is a nice little timeline of my life. I am not a detail person at all, so I was really impressed. And I actually showed my husband this, and he was shocked that I put this together. But my story is not my story, it's God's story. It's what he did for me. So let's begin at the year 2019. And I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone here. So we had been wanting kids, but we did wait 5 years to have kids. We just wanted to enjoy each other. Ended up, after 5 years, trying and got pregnant right away. It was a beautiful pregnancy. I had no issues. I was working out even to the day of giving birth. Physically and then mentally, I was all in. Fast forward to the day, so she was a week late, which is fashionably late, which is like mother, like daughter. Ended up getting induced at that time. So not what I wanted, but I was like, God, that's your plan, that's fine. Ended up progressing to about 8.5 centimeters dilated at that time. And it was really quick. I was like, God, if this is pregnancy and giving birth, I can do this. But it quickly came to a standstill when her head was lodged sideways, and she just made it really difficult to progress anyway. So her pulse was going down, and it became emergent that I needed a C-section. That was my first hurdle there. I did not want that at all. I had been praying with my husband, please, don't make me, because I knew what was entailed. So we ended up praying more about it in the hospital, and it was just what had to be done to keep her healthy and to keep me healthy. So with many of you C-section moms out there, you're warrior women. You're strapped down, and I'm not going to go through the details of scientifically, but it can be a daunting place. It's very sterile. I kind of knew in the back of my mind that's what I was going to be approaching. And quickly, I prayed. Lord, just create a bubble around me. Circle and circle me. and that he did. We were playing Mumford and Sons in the OR. We were singing. It was the most beautiful experience between my husband and myself, and ended up birthing this beautiful baby girl, Sage Ember. So that's kind of where life, I thought, began. So after taking the longest ride home, I felt like he was going like 5 miles per hour on the way home. We ended up coming home to a beautifully decorated house, which my mom and my sisters, they're great. They cleaned and just made it so easy for me to be able to step into this new role as a mother. So, yeah, it was beautiful for 2 weeks. Ended up just really embracing what there was to be a mother and what I thought. But that quickly turned on day 14. I ended up having hallucinations, seeing people in different forms, having delusions, and having these excessive OCD type thoughts, intrusive thoughts that were not of my own. I faked it for a little bit, but my family knew. And they knew that it was an urgent issue. Thank God. So we have a clinic in Oconomowoc called Rogers Memorial. And the soonest that we could get in there as soon as possible. But unfortunately, they were not equipped. They were not equipped for mom and baby, so I was stripped from my baby. I was breastfeeding, but I was not given a pump to die down. So I had milk all over me. I literally thought, I'm just going crazy right now, and what is happening? Quickly, my family swooped in and got me out of that situation and got me to the right place. And that's also where God wanted me. So Amita Health, they're out of Chicago, kind of near, I believe, the Mount Prospect area. Okay, Naperville, Barrington area. And they had a mom and baby intensive therapy program. So I could strap Sage on in her little carrier and go to therapy for about 4 hours a day with other moms that were battling, not as extreme as mine, depression and anxiety and OCD, all those things. So like-minded individuals, and ended up having a team of doctors that were godsend to me, and they all worked collectively to get me out of that manic state, got me on the right medication, met me where I was at. They even brought a dance therapist. So, that was the first time I heard God audibly speak to me. And he's like, you're gonna do this one day. And I'm like, I'm just trying to live here. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know. So, long story short, I struggled. I struggled there. I had really, really bad intrusive thoughts that would come in every couple minutes. So I constantly had to fight for that. And then also mother my child at the same time, as well as physically taking care of myself, having a recent C-section. it brought me to my knees, literally, and I fell to the floor in the hallway. I can see the hallway right now. And I just fell. And I said, God, take it. Take my brain, take everything. Take everything. I don't want it anymore. The next day, miraculously, I was like getting questions by my psychiatrist, my psychologist, my mom, my sisters, my husband, like, what is happening? Like, you're really happy and something's happening. You're very different. God really gave me that one miracle. So that was miracle one. I ended up getting off of medication. Now, disclaimer, I am a pro-medication person, but I did it safely. My mom is a pharmacist, and with the help of her, really big help with her and psychologists and psychiatrists, was able to titrate off the meds completely. So that's year one. And here I am. During that interim time, I was like, phew, like that's never gonna happen again. God, thank you for getting me out of this, but that can't happen again. There's no way. And so I was very hopeful and just trusted that God would get me out if I needed to, but that I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, it wouldn't happen. No way. So God, in his way, he saved some of the fun things for me to see. So I was able to see her walk for the first time and crawl because medically, I was dealing with trauma and whatnot. I wanted to go back to work, but I also wanted to not miss out on her being a baby. And I did miss out on some of those moments. So God in his way just gave me those moments. And I was able to stay home and work. I don't know how I did it, but alas. So now we move on to 2020. So COVID, of course. And I'm sure all of you have been affected by one thing or another. But for my family, we ended up, Sage got COVID. It didn't really affect her as a child, so she got over it pretty quickly. But myself and my husband, that was not the case. We ended up having what is called, I think it's called the Delta variant, and it was harsh to a point where it led us to COVID pneumonia. So we went to our doctors. He was prescribed something. My doctor didn't want to prescribe that for me, said it wouldn't work. He got better. I was getting worse. So the breathing was bad. I was not healing how I should. So I was like, I'm grasping for straws. I'm just gonna go to urgent care. End up going to urgent care and meet a nurse practitioner who did not read my charts. And she prescribed me to a steroid, prednisone. Now, prednisone is fine for those who have not had any mania in their background. But prednisone is no good for someone who has had a manic episode. So, as you can imagine, I took the pills, and about 2 to 3 days later, I was back at it, fighting COVID-induced psychosis. I can't tell you how disassociated I was at that moment, not really understanding why God chose me to have And then my husband quickly reminded me, it's not God. He didn't want you to have this. Like, we just got to work together to get you better. I ended up going into a very big slump, a dark, deep depression. I trusted God, but I also was very mad. And then I was grieving, and then I was shameful. So all these things could kind of coexist at the same time. I knew God was good. But, like, I knew the steps that I would have to take to pick myself up. It's effort. So it was in the middle of winter, and I get seasonal depression as it is. So as you can imagine, it was very gloomy, dark, all the things. So during this time, I started getting very, very bad dreams. Reality, I felt like I was going through a spiritual warfare that I had to fight for my faith. It was constant, me reading scripture, reframing, okay, that came at me, you're unworthy, you're not a good mom, blah, 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 blah. But I had to point back to here. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. And then I would dissect that. He knew me before I was even known. So I had to wrap my head around this. And what I continued to do is, even despite the depression, even the times where I literally could not get out of bed, I would just lay there and sob and sob and sob. I had to choose to get up. And I remember my mom saying this to me, and it really changed the trajectory. She said, Aubrey, I wanted nothing to do with her after this comment, but now that I'm looking at it, she said, just what's one positive thing of today? And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she asked me that. Like, one positive thing, I don't know. And I said the clouds. I don't know the clouds. And then it continued on. And after you start doing that, you start noticing the little things. So God was showing me his creation in his mind's eye through specifically butterflies. He would show me butterflies. My daughter would draw me butterflies. She didn't know what was going on. I would see pictures come through. People would send me videos of butterflies. So, again, same thing happened, and I just picked myself up and surrendered it all. You can have my brain. You can have my body. Everything. Just take it. Then things started to heal. Titration began again, and I would say that's very rare. So again, miracle too, that I was able to get off medication safely. So then, between that time of COVID psychosis, and as you can see the timeline, there was about 1 year of no reoccurrence. And you would think I was happy. I was so fearful. I was grieving. I knew I could never have kids anymore. Because of this condition, I was shameful. I didn't know where that shame came from. It definitely wasn't from God. And then the biggest thing was fear. So fear drove me into this obsessive behavior. I mean, borderline, I kind of idolized it. I was trying to do things on my own. So my whole family was not behind that and kept saying, you need to make things simple, but I didn't listen to them. I said, I don't want this to ever happen again. Well, it's not my choice. But I trudged along. I did everything possible with supplements, 30 plus supplements at any given time. I changed my diet to detox my body, thinking that would help. I did ozone therapy, which is basically they take oxygen, they mix it with your blood, and then they put it back into your body to rewrite the damaged cells in your body. That's okay for someone, again, who hasn't had such a big struggle in their life. Then, the last thing that took the cake was PEMF therapy. So, on the way to this therapy, I felt in my gut, and I knew it was the Holy Spirit, but I wasn't turning back. I said, nope, I already have the payment down on this. It was a lot of money. Lord, I'm going. I went, and it's called PEMF. It stands for Pulse Electric Magnetic Field. Great for individuals who have autoimmune diseases, who have not had manic disorders, who are fine. But for me, I sat on that chair, and the electromagnetic fields crossed my blood barrier, brain barrier. And I went into, yes, my third psychosis. I remember the day was actually my husband's birthday. And we knew right away. We were on the lake, just enjoying beautiful time, and I knew it. I knew something had switched. I was seeing things again, having hallucinations, having thoughts. This time, I went kicking and screaming. I just remember falling to the floor, like, this can't be happening again. God, I trust you. God, I trust you, but this can't be happening again. So this time was even more severe than the next. My husband, me, we were healing separately. He had his own struggles, I had my own. And during that time, I would call it wilderness. I now am grateful for that time spent with the Lord, but it's not fun when you're in it. So I was shown a lot of things during this time. And again, had to really wrap my brain around it and pick myself up again. It took longer than anticipated. I would have 4 or 5 panic attacks a day. The depression took over me. The fear took over me. I then, later on, after probably 8-9 months, my husband's like, what is there to give, Aubrey? What is your why? And I thought about that, and yet again, I surrendered it all. My brain, my body, and that's all it took. That's all it took for him to say, let's start healing again. So, titrated very, very slowly this time, safely, with the help of my mom, who is a licensed pharmacist and a psychologist, psychiatrist, and therapist. Now, after this time, you would expect me to be mad or fearful or sad, but God did something a little bit different in me. And he helped me just enjoy each day. So I was home fully with Sage at this time and also working, but I could enjoy times with her while she's other things, learning to ride her bike and learning how to read. So he gave those things back to me. About a year and a half later, I ended up taking on my husband's grief, taking on his pain. I am definitely an empath through and through, so you empaths know. And I took on so much of the house that it sent me to this just mental breakdown, if you will. So anxiety, all of that kept rushing in. I ended up right back where I started. So remember how I was saying, when I first got diagnosed with psychosis, I went to Rogers Memorial. Not a great experience. Well, we prayed about it, and that's where he wanted us. And I said, no. I just remember kicking and screaming, like, I will do it, but I need help. So I remember my husband literally carrying me, and I'm shaking, God, why? I got through the doors, and this peace, unexplainable, came over me immediately. And it's like, okay, I can do this. So I was there for a week, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They service the Lake Country area, but all over the world. And I sat in on specific, traumatic inpatient sessions. There was dog therapy, art therapy, and dance therapy. And I ended up really spending this time in the Word, and specifically Psalms. I felt like I could understand David as he's lamenting and, kind of going through this roller coaster in life. Things were taken away from him. Things were given back. And I asked one simple question to God. I said, why am I here? And he audibly spoke, which, again, this is very, very, very seldom where I hear him, but he said to love yourself again. I immediately start crying and start really digging in. What is it? I thought I was loving myself, but it really was shown in my face that I wasn't. I was shaming myself for something that wasn't my fault. I didn't want postpartum psychosis. I just wanted to have a healthy baby. I didn't want all these relapses. So I was shaming myself for missing out on the moments and not breastfeeding. Who cares? She was fed. So it literally was shedding me of the fear and the shame with that one comment. I had a dream in patient there, and he brought to my dream dance therapy, mental health apparel. And in the dream, he just kept saying, rise up, rise up. And I woke up and I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. But I kept getting reminded and reminded of that. So next slide. So following the inpatient visit, I was introduced to what I call a godsend. He sat down and just wanted to know about my story. And I had never had a doctor like him. He said, you're having anxiety. You have PTSD. You have some OCD. Nothing we can't fix. But this specific drug, and my mom reminded me as well, just the side effects of it could cause mania. So I had a choice there. Was I really gonna trust? Or was I not? I looked into his eyes and I believe God was talking through him, but he said it's gonna be all right. And in that moment, I knew things were gonna be all right. And I have chills right now. But in that moment, things just turned. They turned. Next slide. So that's where Rise Up Again came. So you can see that logo there. That is actually me. My sister-in-law she's a photographer, she took a picture of me in black and white photography, and I felt like that represented rising up. I added the again because I felt like I had to rise up again and again and again and again. I was terrified to tell my husband that this was the plan. So, I've been in human resources for 15 plus years and brought home the mortgage payment. But I was like, Lord, just can you soften his heart? I'll give him 2 weeks. And so ended up expressing to him that this is what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to quit my job and trust him and open up, rise up again. Before I could even say anything, he said, I know what you're going to say. So again, God answered prayer. He softened his heart. He said, so what does this entail? And in his detail manner, he's like, okay, we got to get down to the brass tacks. But we were on the same page. And that's where it began a year and a half ago. I've been away from my full-time career, doing God's work, honestly. My dad would remind me, Aubrey, you're in your calling. So everything that I do through a funnel of him. And I say yes to things and I say no to things. But it started off with the mental health apparel to raise awareness, to reduce stigma, to create conversation. And that's what it's done for me. Everything is curated by myself and designed, but that's not even the point. The point is, God literally puts the right person in my lap when they need to hear it the most. And he has showed me that time and time again. So this last picture was Oh, can you go back one slide? Awesome. So that last one was about 6 months into my business. And, my husband's like, okay, this is what you want to do? And I started questioning myself and questioning my questions. But then I got into the Word, and it just, the one verse that always has stuck with me is Joel 2:25. He will restore what the locusts have given you. So it was one day, I don't remember, it was no special day, but I was at the coffee shop, of course. And I was just talking to God and looked over, kitty corner to me, and that was the license plate. Rise up. I was like, okay, you got it. And I knew then on I was full force ahead. So, next slide. A lot of what I do is for her. This is my daughter, she's 6. She knows my story, and I'm very candid with her on that I need brain pills for my brain to function. So she's very emotionally intelligent that way. She wanted to come tonight. She said that she would be quiet, but I didn't believe her. Even with strep throat, she would definitely be talking and wanting to come up here. But I've come to terms, even in my healing, that I was grieving too. So grieving the loss of myself, kind of shedding, if you will. Grieving the loss of what was my marriage to what it is now. My husband is fantastic, but we still have healing. He's seen both sides of things. To grieving the loss of not having kids. That was a big one for me. And that's something that I both am grateful for, that I had a healthy baby girl, but I wanted like 5 kids. I grew up in a very big family. We're very close, but that's not in the cards for me. So it's okay for both to exist. It's okay for grieving to exist. You can be sad about it. You can be grateful about it. But that's okay. That's not my story. So she fills the room. And that's, my little sage ember. So very spicy, sweet little lady. Next slide. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about kind of what I brought to you today. I know it's a very condensed version. I couldn't fit in everything unless you were here for like 10 hours, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, I want to give you some resources here. You can take out your phone and take a picture if you feel led, or write it on a notebook. But yeah, there are just a few different resources. So postpartum.net. Postpartum.net is a whole lump sum of information on postpartum, depression, OCD, anxiety, any type of mania and psychosis. They give you pamphlets on there now, which is incredible, of PDFs that you can give anyone that's experiencing that type of symptom and where to go. They also have a 24-hour hotline so that anyone who is experiencing such, or if you have a friend or a close family member, you can get on the phone and be directed to the appropriate. Now, Postpartum International, I can't speak more highly about. They have nurses and doctors and all the resources there. They have support peer groups. They have husband groups. So my husband would actually take calls and go through these support groups with other husbands of postpartum survivors. So all the above there. They have all the resources on their site, Instagram, etc. NAMI. NAMI, I absolutely love NAMI. It has a special place in my heart. NAMI is the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and I know for a fact in this area, there is a chapter in the Sterling area. So we have a dear friend that actually coached swim for a lot of my siblings, Maggie White, and she spearheads a lot of that. So if you or someone needs a type of resource to get support or get help or just be with like-minded people who are struggling, that is the way to go. And then last but not least, 988. So this is recent. It's actually on one of my sweatshirts here too, on the back of it. This is for more of an extreme situation, but for more emergency purposes, or if you feel a friend is having symptoms, whatnot, they will have you connected to the right person. Mental health line, suicide hotline. So again, there's help out there. Unfortunately, you have to find it, is what I've found. And my hope is that I can at least provide a little bit of the resources that have helped me, so that I'm just passing the baton to you. Next slide. So I have, before we do questions, I just wanted to read you just some verses that help me. So Joel 2:25, I had mentioned that, but there was a typo on my presentation. It's Psalm 146:18. I'm just going to read it, and maybe someone needs to hear this today, I feel. So the Lord is near to all who call on him, all who call to him with integrity. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He hears their cry for help and saves them. The Lord guards all those who love him, but destroys all the wicked. My mouth will declare the Lord's praise. Let every living bless his holy name forever and ever. So with that, any questions? I don't have candy, I'm sorry. Anybody? I'll give you a free item. Oh, awesome.
I simply would ask because I've been trying to find that verse you just spoke. You said it was 146:18.
Oh, I'm sorry, 145:18.
Okay.
You're probably like, what am I reading? That's not in my Bible.
Thank you.
Yes. So 18 through 21. And I saw one more hand.
Tell us a little bit about what you have on your table.
Yes, for sure. So you guys can browse as you want. But this also was an idea from God. So I just did it. I work with an embroiderer locally, and she embroiders all the crazy designs that I think of in my head and on Canva, and then I put it on a t-shirt. because what's the best way to spread awareness? So you're a walking person that can meet people, right? So this one, it says you are enough. I had to be reminded of that a lot, that my identity is in him and not my husband, not my daughter, but in him. So when I figured that out, the long story short, I knew that I was enough. So this is a half a brain and then flowers over it. And this is my first design. I did design it, and then my gal just put it on a sweatshirt. Yeah?
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But what is the reason, did they say that you can't have any more children?
The 80% chance that I would likely go into psychosis again by having another child. It just would set, I don't do well in pregnancy and giving birth. So now, with that being said, case by case here, if you have a doctor that's going to walk alongside of you on that and you choose that for your family and God is leading you that direction, but for me and my household, yeah, that's no longer. So I have a Mastiff puppy. He's 125 pounds, and he's my baby boy, and I have my baby girl. Anybody else?
Can you talk about your dance therapy and how you're helping others?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I got convoluted here with all the talking. So dance therapy is really the big portion of my business. So yes, this is great, but this was only a start. Now, if you remember, when I first got diagnosed with postpartum psychosis, I went to Amita Health. God spoke to me and said, "You're going to do that one day." And I said, "Yeah." Okay. I'm a dancer by trade, but I didn't know how that would all fit in. So what dance therapy is, I'm not a licensed therapist. So I can't give med advice. I can't give them like in-depth therapy, but I can move with them. That's what I know I can do. And so God has given me this gift to share with others. So it first starts, I'll just give you kind of the pro of like what the schedule is. So it's a 60-minute session. We come in, we bring our Bibles, we set the tone. We base the specific therapy on one specific verse from there. We then do a prayerful meditation, and we lay and just meditate on His Word and meditate. We then do grounding exercises, which some of you younger folks would know this, but grounding, barefoot on the floor, all of that, feeling something there below you and by you. We then move. So I differentiate based off the person. So as I was talking about the 45-year-old, that beautiful, beautiful soul, she had dance experience. So I could throw things at her. Oftentimes we would use specific lyrics and songs to dictate our movement. And then we would just let it go. So when I tell you it was the most beautiful encounter, it was so just mind-blowing. and helped her throughout the process. So I have a 3-month intensive program that's for someone who is really dedicated to coming on a weekly basis for 60 minutes. I have a 5-session where I work with a wellness collective group that I've partnered with. They have Pilates, chiropractic, a psychologist on staff, an MD, lymphatic drainage. I feel like I'm missing something. And then myself. So I just signed there, and they're actually laying down floor for a dance studio as we speak. So I'm doing adult classes and just announced the launch of my kids program. So that kind of came to me as I was just praying, like, is there anything else that I'm missing here? And one night I just kept typing away. And that's a 5-session for kids to build self-confidence, awareness, specifically for young girls. So I just got a call today that I will be partnering with a larger nonprofit to launch that program in southeastern Wisconsin, and who knows where God will take me there. Oh, yeah. So there are handouts here if you want to know more about me, more about my story, in kind of the infancy of what was happening with Rise Up Again. I was on a couple podcasts. They just reached out to me. So one was out of California and one out in the Maine area. So feel free if you want to listen more in depth. I get a little bit more in depth about that if you're curious. And then I have just information on dance healing and my catalog of stuff there. I do want to leave you with something today as we wrap up. And this is a prayer that my mom would pray over me. And that's in Numbers. But I would invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. This is a prayer that I pray over my daughter. And hope it blesses you. Lord, bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey, for coming. Thank you, Melody, for coming with her, or bringing her, or however. And thank you all for coming, and have safe travels on the way home.